Hello and welcome back to Core Finance. I'm Matt Brown. I'm joined today by Paul Wallace, who is founder of the London Trader Network. How are you today, Paul?
I'm very well, Matt. Very pleased to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on. So, for our new viewers, can you just explain what the London Traders Network is? I think the clue's in the name, but if you can just give us the details.
I'm an independent trader. I've traded for funds in the past, but I'm primarily an independent trader, and it can be a pretty lonesome endeavour. So. What must be about 10 years or so ago now, I literally set up kind of what you'd probably call like an old school type social network, one where actually you have to physically get out and go and meet other human beings
face to face,
and actually have a bit of a pint and a chat and share your war story. So whether you've traded for 2 weeks or 2 decades, it's just a place just to come and have a chat with other traders, okay, and unburden your soul, whether it's been a good week or a bad week, okay. So that's really just what the London Traders Network is all about.
Understood. So you are not alone. There are others like you out there.
Exactly.
And fantastic. So
exactly.
We'll start off looking today at this chap, and really this is, well, a case of maybe how not to do it, how not to trade. Just talk us through the slides that we have here.
Well, I thought, I sort of term this as like pride comes before a fall, and it was really about, without sort of sticking the knife too far into his back, about actually what can we all learn from the hubris of others. So I suppose some people will know who Hugh Hendry is, but I knew who he was. I've never met the chap, but I've known about him for years, and I think the next slide has a little bit of detail on him. Okay, so kind of those who didn't know me, a hedge fund manager who basically made his name during the last crash by shorting the banks. Okay, everyone thought he was a star, bit of a hedge fund manager celeb, and he managed to build his fund up to about what I understand is approximately about 1.3 billion. And anyway, then on Friday he turns up on Bloomberg TV and does an interview, which is a rather it's a rather fascinating piece of TV to watch, where he admits that actually he's gone from like 1.3 billion down to 30 million now.
Incredible.
And he's closing that fund down and has a little bit of a, I wouldn't go so far as to say a rant, but his commentary told me an awful lot about him, his state of mind, and it's about, well, what can we actually learn from that ourselves?
And so let's have a look at some of the things he said in the interview. Quite interesting. I died in active combat.
Yeah. So this is my annoyance point. Okay, this annoys me on a couple of levels. All right. So especially as I'm a veteran. Okay, of the military. I can assure you, Hugh, you did not die in active combat. All right. Watching numbers on a screen is not the same as being active combat. He just screwed up. Okay. He started to believe his own his own propaganda, and started to think he was better than he was, better than the market, and effectively that sort of sowed the seeds of his downfall. And one of the things I kind of try and teach people is that it's about, you have to learn to live to fight another day. All right, you can have a bad day in a market, you can have a couple of bad trades, you can have a bad week, you can have a bad month, but you should always be able to live to fight another day. Okay, so that kind of that's my annoyance. That's my kind of old man rant out of the way.
Markets are wrong. I mean, one thing I used to trade myself, and one thing I learned from a very early stage was you can't be bigger than the market. Nobody is bigger than the market. So
exactly.
Is the market right and Hugh was wrong?
Well, the whole thing, markets might be irrational, all right? They might actually, when you look at them, they might be beyond your comprehension. People think that because, for example, like I trade, I wake up every morning and look at the charts and understand exactly what's going on. There was a lot of the time I look at what the market's happening and I have absolutely no comprehension. I don't understand it. I don't get what's going on. And you know what? When the markets are like that, I do nothing. I do nothing. Okay. So they might be irrational. They might be beyond your comprehension, but they're never wrong. And for you to think that you know better than the market is, once again, you're sowing the seeds of your own destruction there. Okay, whatever the market's doing, you treat that as if that market's right, and realistically, you don't fight it, because if you fight the market, ultimately you're going to lose, as did Mr. Hendry.
And then there's always the option: you can buy, sell, or do nothing. And the do nothing trade is so important. If you don't understand the product, leave well alone. And we see that with obviously cryptocurrencies, etc., going on at the moment.
Absolutely. Independent traders, they underestimate the importance of actually doing nothing. They don't realize that being flat, it is a position.
Yes.
Being flat is a position, and it's a perfectly adequate position if that market is just, if you just do not understand what's going on. You know, the best thing for most traders is actually to be flat out of it.
Understood. And let's have a look at what else Mr. Hendry had to say. North Korea and Trump did it. I was successful in being idle.
Yeah, well, yeah. So you know, what I took from this is that, you know, he, you know, as he talked through, and I think it was about a 25-minute interview that he did, you know, and it was fascinating. It was fascinating, and I would advise people to catch it whilst you can. But you know, what struck me was that there was no contrition. All right, there was no acceptance of blame. Okay, it was everybody else's fault apart from his own. He was right. The markets were wrong, and you know, and this was a terrible thing. And the reality is that you have to take responsibility for your own outcomes. Okay, and your progress as a trader will accelerate when you take responsibility for the outcome of your trade. No one causes you or forces you to pull the trigger on a trade. Okay, so you own the outcome. Okay, whatever that might be, and you take it and you learn from it. And similarly, and this kind of links into the London Traders Network, is that, you know, you should have a network of good people around you who keep you honest. All right, it's very easy to get around a group of people who all think the same as you, who all are, you know, kind of sycophantic, fawning over your wonderfulness. But actually, that can be fatal. You need to have some good guys and girls around you that can keep you honest. And I get the impression that you know, that wasn't happening in Mr. Hendry's life. You know, he had you know, jumped the shark, so to speak. And you know, finally, you know, when they asked him what he'd been successful in, he said he'd been successful in being idle. Now, you know, success, the definition of success is a very personal thing, all right? However, if I was an investor, if I'd been one of those investors in that fund...
Yes, paying the fees,
losing the capital and paying the fees, and, you know, and he was defining that, you know, my success was in being idle, I would be, you know, less than impressed. And in fact, I'd probably be
on the phone to your lawyer.
Exactly. You know, it's almost like professional negligence.
Yeah.
I understand what he was trying to get to, namely that you need to have a sort of work-life balance. You need to have other space away from the markets to be able to recharge and re-energize. However, to come out and say, well, you know, most of my success was down to being idle, it's just not, you know, it's just, yeah, it kind of capped off an understanding that, you know, he really had kind of lost the plot. You know, he really had lost the plot throughout this. And so, you know, what happened, you know, well, effectively, you know, he had his fund is gone, all right, you know, his fund's gone, and all that investor capital has gone as well. And I suppose then you look at, you know, what my final point there was, you know, he was a major bear.
Yes.
Right? So when a major bear is routed and throws the towel in, and, you know, and almost becomes a bull, well, you know, is that just one sign of an impending top? You know, so
yes.
So there you go.
Maybe he'll rue throwing it in so early. Yeah. And speaking of recharging, recouping, etc., probably a good opportunity to do so and share. Well, we won't say war stories because you know, no one died, but share common themes with like-minded traders. The London Traders Network meeting tonight.
Yeah, so it's tonight. So so Hugh, if you're watching, you know, come on down. I'll buy you a pint.
Probably need to
probably need a couple of. I'll buy you a pint, okay, and stuff. We can have a chat. But yeah, sort of Celebar of the New Moon this evening. Okay, I run them like 6 a year, every 2 months. The next one will be November. There, need to update the slides there. But yeah, tonight Celebar of the New Moon, and as I said at the start, it's literally just a space. Come and have a chat, okay. And you know, I would hope that most of the people there have not had the kind of a harrowing 2017 that Hugh Hendry has, but whether you've had a good year or a challenging one, it's a chance just to come and have a chat, because no one really understands your situation better than another trader. They understand the highs and the lows of it. So yeah, just come along and have a chat.
Fantastic. Paul Wallace, thanks very much for joining us today.
Cheers. Thanks, Matt.